Please listen to the legal disclaimer at the end of this video. Hi, I'm Boiler from notlegaladvice.org. I'm a consumer advocate from Colorado. I specialize in helping people that are having collection issues or credit report issues, or are getting phone calls that they don't want, those type of things. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about what to do, just the basics of how to get started and get a lawsuit going if you decide that's what you want to do. So the first thing that you need to do is more of a mindset thing, where most people go through their lives, and when something bad happens to them, they got somebody to blame, and when something good happens to them, they just take a little bit of the credit. I'd encourage you to take a little bit different approach with consumer lawsuits and own it. Just 100% own the case. If you lose, you lost. Don't blame anybody else but yourself. Don't blame the law. You lost. And also, if you win, take credit. You won. Congratulations. Go cash your check. I've seen a lot of people that have done this, and these type of lawsuits, and they blame an attorney, or they blame the judge, or what have you. But you've got to just own this case. So whoever helps you, or whatever videos you watch like this on YouTube or whatever, own it yourself. So that's the first thing that I would request that you do. If you get pointers from me, I'm not going to win your lawsuit, and I'm not going to lose your lawsuit. You are. So that's the main thing here. So aside from the mindset, the first thing I think that you really need to do is to read the law. You can read the FDCPA. You can go to cornell.edu. That's kind of the main place to read the law. If you just do a Google search for Cornell space FDCPA, it'll bring up the link, and you can read it from Cornell. You really want to be careful of where you're getting information from, so that you make sure that it's right. Similarly, if you watch videos on YouTube, like obviously I'm on YouTube making videos, but some of these people that are on here don't know what they're talking about, and some of them are very, very good. So you kind of got to figure that out. And one of the things I would think about is, when you're listening to somebody talk about suing somebody for the FDCPA, how many times have they sued somebody? A lot of these people have never sued anybody, have never been in federal court, and these are the clowns. They're just pretending that they know what they're talking about, and they pretend they know what they're doing. I have been in federal court several times. Initially it's a little bit nerve-wracking, but after you kind of figure out how things work, there's very little that I look forward to more than going to federal court, as odd as that sounds. And if you file a few lawsuits, I think you'll get there too. This is very rewarding to get justice, what you think is justice, and to get collectors off your back, get telephone calls to stop, those type of things. It's very rewarding. But when you walk out of that case and you just kicked an attorney's ass, that's very rewarding too. So there's a lot of reward in doing this besides getting a check. So when you're watching other people's videos, just keep in mind, if they're talking about they filed lawsuits and they've done this and they've done that, they're probably pretty good. I think you'll get a good feel for them as you listen to their videos. Some of the things I think about with my videos is, I wear t-shirts. I usually shoot these videos on Saturday. During the week, I wear dress shirts and I go to work. But on Saturdays I wear the most comfortable shirt that I have. So that's what you see here. So, I think I have one video where I'm wearing a dress shirt. So anyhow, I'm not really into the image. I'm really into giving you ideas and encouraging you. So the other element of knowing who to trust is, when you get somebody that you believe in, make sure you just stick with their plan. If you start mixing these plans, and you send a letter from this guy, and you send a lawsuit from this guy, and you use this guy's approach, you've got such a mishmash of things going on that nobody's going to be able to help you. you know, all those different people that you got ideas from aren't really going to help you all that much, and it's going to be hard to figure out what you need to do next because you didn't follow anybody's plan. You've made your own agenda here, so you really kind of want to find a person that you trust and stick with it. Another thing to think about is how available these people are. Right now, I respond to every email that I get. Sometimes I get stuck in the spam filter, and I'd hate to think that I don't respond. But if that's the case, then obviously I lost it in the spam filter. But right now, I respond to every email. Be more than glad to talk to almost anybody on the phone, anybody that's trying and is doing this in good faith. So I didn't mean for this to be a sales pitch about myself. There's other people out there that are doing a great job, and there are people that basically do this full time, and everything that I've learned, I've either learned from experience or there are people that I've learned these things from. So, I'm not an innovator or anything like that. I've taken other people's ideas and put them all together into my plan, and that's what I talk about is my plan. But I did steal other people's ideas, and I do use other people's ideas just like everybody else. Shakespeare didn't invent the English language, but he used it. So that's kind of what I'm out here doing. So back to writing the lawsuit. Figure out who you trust, and then start thinking about actually writing the lawsuit. And the first thing that you're going to want to do is, you've read the law, so figure out what was violated, what parts of the law were violated, and maybe print out the FDCPA if that's what you're doing, and just highlight the sections that were violated. And then sit back and think about the chronological events of what's happened. How did this all start? And I just make bullet points. Bullet one, received a letter from LVMV saying that I owed, $1,623, whatever. What was the second thing? Sent dispute letter. I hope you sent a dispute letter. That's one of the absolute things you need to do. Sent dispute letter on such and such date. Blah, blah, blah. And go through chronologically what happened, because this is going to be a key part of your lawsuit. So, and it's also great for your records. And if you end up in court and you have this list in front of you, and somebody says, "Well, how did this all start?" You can go through these and nail them. So that's kind of the first step. The second thing that you're going to want to do is, I recommend that you're in federal court. If you're in state court, you might have to figure out a different plan. But in federal court, you want to open a Pacer account. So go to Pacer.gov and open an account. And as I'll explain later, it's 10 cents. Right now it's 10 cents a page. I've written a book about Pacer.gov. You don't need to buy the book to use Pacer.gov. If you want a couple tips and want to support me, the book's 99 cents and it's on Amazon. If you just do a search for Boiler Williams, you'll pull up all the books that I've written. It's 99 cents, so I'm not going to make any money off of it. I don't know what, I think I make 30 or 60 cents off each book. So I'd have to sell 100,000 of these things to make a living. So I would give it away if Amazon would let me, but it's the world's biggest bookstore, so it's out there and it's 99 cents. That's the least amount they'll let me charge for it. So I'm not doing it to make money. So anyhow, I'm going to start a video. It's going to show you how to go through the basics of Pacer and look for a lawsuit. Okay, so we're at Pacer.gov, and this is the main index page. So we go to Find a Case, search the Pacer case locator, and I've already logged in, so normally in between that it'll ask you for your account information, and you need to sign up for an account, and I believe it's 10 cents a page right now to pull up documents. So I haven't spent any money because I haven't pulled up a document, but we'll get to that in a minute. So select a region. So I'm from Colorado, so I'm going to type in Colorado and choose Colorado. I don't know the case number because I haven't figured out what I want to look at, or the case title yet. Nature of the suit, I think that's kind of useless. You can sort by, figure out dates and stuff like that, but right now I'm going to start with LVNV, one of my favorite collectors, and do a search. And this brings me up cases since 2008. Obviously, I don't really care about anything that happened in 2008. But if you look down here at the bottom, this is a fairly current case. This is from November of this year, so this is a little over a month old. So that's a really good case to look at. So as you can see I've looked at these cases also. So another thing to look at while you're here is how long a case takes to settle. So for example, this one was filed in October and it's settled in December. So it took 2 months. This one, October till the end of November, that one was about 2 months. This one looks like about 2 months. That one was about 2 months. This one was a month and a half. So if you start looking at these, you can tell how long it takes for LVNV to settle their cases. So let's just pick this one. This one doesn't have a close date, so that means it's still open, hasn't been settled yet. So let's just look at it. One of the things I like to look at are the attorneys. So let's look at the attorneys. Louis Leonard Galvis, I've never heard of him. From Sessions Fishman, it's hard for me to say this law firm. Sessions, Fishman, Nathan, and Israel in Fort Collins. That's a town in Colorado. Here's their address and the contact information. So that is the attorney for LVNV. So that's the defendant's attorney. And then the attorney that's suing them is David Michael Larson. And he is one of the really active attorneys in Colorado doing this. I know by looking at it that it's a FDCPA issue because that's all the cases that he takes. And that it's for Gabrielle Drayton, that's the plaintiff. So that's the things that you can learn from here. So if you're going to sue NVLV, you know that most likely you're going to be dealing with Sessions, Fishman, and whatever, and probably this Louis Leonard Galvis. So if you can look at what happened in this case, you can kind of get a flavor for what's going to happen to you. So I'm going to go back and I am going to look at the history of the documents. I still haven't spent any money yet, I don't think. So run a query. These are the documents that have been filed. If you notice, the last one here is notice of settlement. So between the 1st of November and the middle of December, they've settled this. So these guys settle their cases pretty quick. So the other thing that I really like to look at is just the documents. So there was a complaint filed. There was a case assigned to the judge. That's normal. A summons issued. So that just told the defendant that they needed to give an answer. The summons was returned executed. There's an order that we can look at. A notice of appearance, that's when the attorney, usually for the defendant, says that they're on the case. They put in a motion for an extension of time to file an answer. They probably didn't want to file an answer. They were probably negotiating. And a couple weeks later, they settled. So that's just kind of what I'm seeing happen in this case. So what I really want to read is the complaint. Because it was, if you look at complaints, if you look at a pro se, which is a person that's not using an attorney, you kind of got to take it with a grain of salt because, you know, probably 75% of pro se litigants don't know what they're doing. But an attorney, you know, probably 50% of them know what they're doing. So not picking on attorneys. And I know this David Larson is pretty good. So I've read probably 20 of his cases before. And once you have read one of his cases, you kind of get the gist of it. So you can read the summons or the cover sheet, or that doesn't really interest me all that much. What interests me is this document here. So I'm going to view the document, open it up. I think I'm going to open it up. So here's the document. Now, of course, I'm not going to go through this whole thing for you, but you kind of see this header, which is called the styling of the case. So if you're in Colorado, this is what yours needs to look like. And your defendant's going to be right here. It's a complaint and jury demand. Your jurisdiction is going to look exactly like that if it's a FDCPA violation. The venue, yours is going to look exactly like that. Parties, obviously it's going to say plaintiff and then your name as a natural person. The plaintiff resides in, whatever town you live in. Make sure it's the right state for the jurisdiction of the court. So you're going to have the same statements in here about you being a consumer as defined by 15 U.S.C. 1692 A3. That is the FDCPA. So anyhow, that goes on and on. You're just really going to copy this. And one of the main things to realize is that, we've all hopefully gone to a little bit of schooling, and plagiarism was very frowned upon in school, where, if you copied somebody else's work and you didn't cite it, that, that's a grave error, that you might get wrapped on the back of the side of the head with a ruler or something at your school. In legal filings, plagiarism is not an issue, so you can copy this word for word. Clearly this isn't going to be you word for word, because your defendant might be a little bit different. Just go through this and figure out what's different and change it. But plagiarize word for word if you want. Your factual allegations are going to be different, but as you look at somebody else's factual allegations, hopefully at some point prior to this you've put a list of, in a chronological order, what's happened to you. So you'll want to build factual allegations based upon your chronological events. So look through here and make sure that you're saying pretty much the same thing. That, like this line here, a telephone conversations each individually constituted a communication. If you have a telephone conversation, use that exact same term. But go through these, and you're going to want to do this with probably 5 or 6 different lawsuits, and you'll get an idea of exactly what you need. Most of them are almost identical. So this is what happened. So there should be some kind of wow, this thing's pretty long. So he's asking for a jury trial. Okay. So I use this respondent superior, which basically means that if some flunky working for you does something against the law, that you're liable because you're their boss and you should have known what they were doing, or you either did know what they were doing or you should have. You can go through here and read this legal description of what I just told you, but I always put this exact same words in there. And then you'll see the different counts. Count 1, FDCPA violation, and they'll explain exactly what they did and that was a violation. So you'll want to do the same thing for your counts. And again, I'm just hitting this real quick, and wow, there was only one count in there. So you may want to put more. You'll probably want to put more than one count in there. And then jury trial demanded. You always want to demand a jury trial. Sometimes, and I've litigated in almost every court in Colorado, unfortunately. And these go to federal courts, and I really kind of trust the judges in federal courts that I've been around. It's kind of odd for me to say that, but you still want to demand a jury trial, because your peers, when you get in front of them, if it ever gets to that, will hopefully treat you a lot fairer than any judge will. Your demand for relief is what you're asking for. You're asking the jury for, or the judge. So anyhow, that's what they're asking. And you notice that they didn't ask for a specific amount of money. So if your damages you think are $1,500, you don't put that in there. You just put this basic stuff in here, like this lawyer did, David Larson. And then even if you're not using an attorney, I still put reasonable attorney fees, just like this line right here. But that's in case for some reason I need an attorney to do something for me. I haven't yet, but if you got that line in there, you're covered. If not, then you're not going to get attorney fees if you use an attorney. You'll see respectfully submitted, and then you'll want to put your name and address there. You want to put your phone number I wouldn't put your phone number on there. I would use a Google voice line or something like that that just forwards to your line, because I don't like having that out there publicly. If you look at my lawsuits, it's all goes to a Google forward. And I also have another email address that's just a forward that I can just shut off if I after the case is over and this is behind me, I could just shut it off, or whatever. And that's it. That's it for the complaint document. So that's the main thing that I wanted to read. If you don't know how to do a cover sheet, you can look at that cover sheet. So I'm spending about 10 cents a page doing this. So this is what the cover sheet looks like. And these are pretty common with all of the different federal courts, but might be a little bit different. Let's go through that. This is, let's just save it for another day, but I'll go through this in another video, because I don't want this video to be 2 hours long. But this first page is all that you have to fill out. Make sure that you fill out for a jury trial. And that's about it for this. So let's see what else you might want to look at while you're in here. You can check out what a notice of settlement looks like. This is your ultimate goal. Unless you're some kind of legal pioneer or something, you just really want to get the problem behind you and get a check and get it settled. So this is pretty simple. If you're an attorney, you can do this electronic signature. If not, you're going to have to hand sign this. So that's pretty simple. And that's about it for this case. So let me hit the back. I'm done with this case. So then I would go back another case and just keep working up this line. You can tell the last time I did research that I looked at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lawsuits is what I read before I decided what I was going to do with LVNV. So make sure that you read. If you're very seasoned at this, you might only need to read a couple. But I consider myself fairly seasoned. I think I've done 8 lawsuits now. Anyhow, I read 6 before I was comfortable with what was going on, and that's about it. So you can go back and and look at, that was section 440, I think. Yeah, if you look at this, section 440 is the one that FDCPA, FCRA, and TCPA are in. So you could just go through this section and read the lawsuits that were filed. But I really recommend you just look for who you're going to sue and do a search for them. If they aren't in your jurisdiction, if LVNV wasn't notorious for what they do and didn't get sued in Colorado, then don't narrow that down. Just leave that state blank in there. So you're just going to do a normal search. Whoop, went too far. So let's get rid of Colorado and see how many we come up with. So I came up with 22 pages of these, so 1,140 pages. So that's a lot to read. You'd want to search these by date and just start reading them like you did for your state. But that's about it. Thanks. I'll get back to my normal video now. So that's the basics of using Pacer. I just rushed through there. At the end, I have a small daughter that was tugging on my sleeve, and I was trying to finish it. So if I sounded a little distant, it was because I'm looking like this and talking at the same time, looking at her, going shh, shh, shh. I'm close. So anyhow, I'm a real person, have kids, and all that. And these lawsuits take a lot of time. You're going to take a little bit of study on your part. You're going to have to watch videos like mine. Another guy that I really like is Richard Cornfarth. Got a weird name. He's a guy from Oklahoma that always wears really ugly vests. Sorry, Richard, if you're watching this. Sorry. Anyhow, if you go to my website at notlegaladvice.org and do a search in the upper right-hand corner for Cornfarth, Cornfarth, I have links to some of his videos, and there's a new one that I just saw that is really good too. So check out those. I'm here to help you. I help anybody I can. I don't give advice, but I'll tell you what I would do in your situation. I'll show you samples of things that I've seen, that type of thing, and you own your case, but I think that most of these cases are very winnable. It just takes a little bit of time, and you just have to have a little faith in yourself. If you need anything, send me an email. Check me out on Facebook. Send me a message on Facebook. I'm always around. Sometimes it'll take me 2 or 3 days to respond, but that's because I have a life outside of this. This isn't all I do. If it was, I'd probably starve to death. So anyhow, fight the good fight, fight the essential fight, and I'll see you next time. This is the legal disclaimer. While the information on this site deals with legal issues, it does not constitute legal advice. The materials in this video and related websites are provided for informational purposes only and do not constitute legal advice. We do not advise on the application of law to an individual's specific circumstances. Although we go to great lengths to make sure our information is accurate and useful, we recommend you consult a lawyer if you want professional assurance that our information and your interpretation of it is appropriate to your particular situation. There are no lawyers in this video or on the notlegaladvice.org family of websites. The contact information for this video is notlegaladvice.org, that is the main blog, nlapublishing.org, that is the main book site. The email address is boiler@notlegaladvice.org. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to email me. I'd love to hear from you.